If Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man in the world, could feel anxious, then what hope do we have? It's a comforting thought, isn't it? To know that even a man who ruled an empire, commanded armies, and shaped history still struggled with the same restless thoughts that keep us awake at 3 a.m. Because Marcus wasn't just a ruler, he was a human being. He had fears. He had doubts. He worried about failure, loss, and the things he couldn't control. But the difference is this: he learned how to live above his anxiety, not be crushed by it. And his private writings, which later became meditations, were never meant for anyone else. They were his therapy. His reminder to himself to stay calm, rational, and grounded in a chaotic world. So today, we're diving deep into how Marcus Aurelius faced anxiety, and how his Stoic wisdom can help us handle the stress of modern life. Part 1. Even emperors feel it. When we think of anxiety, we imagine modern stress. Emails, deadlines, bills, social media, politics. But Marcus Aurelius had his own version: wars on the borders, plagues spreading through Rome, betrayal in the Senate, constant threats to his life and family. He didn't have the luxury of escape. Every decision he made affected millions. And yet, he still wrote lines like this: "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That's one of the most powerful anti-anxiety truths ever written. Marcus is saying, it's not what happens to you that makes you anxious, it's how you think about it. The Stoics believed that emotions like anxiety aren't caused by the world itself, but by our judgment of the world. The external event is neutral. It's our interpretation that gives it power. Think about it. Two people can face the exact same problem, say, losing a job. One spirals into panic, the other calmly plans their next step. The difference? Not the event. The judgment of the event. That's what Marcus mastered. And it's what you can learn to master too. Part 2. The first Stoic rule: control what you can. The foundation of Stoic peace, and the cure for anxiety, is the dichotomy of control. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Let's break that down. When you're anxious, your brain is trying to control things that can't be controlled. Other people's opinions, the future, the past, the outcome of things not yet decided. But Marcus reminds us, you only control your thoughts and actions. Everything else is beyond you. Epictetus, his Stoic predecessor, put it bluntly: some things are up to us, and some things are not. Once you see that clearly, you can start releasing 80% of what's making you anxious. You can't control the traffic. You can't control the economy. You can't control what others say or think. But you can control how you show up, how you think, and how you respond. That realization alone can feel like taking off a heavy backpack you've been carrying for years. Part 3. The Stoic pause. Reclaiming the moment when anxiety strikes. The Stoic move isn't to fight it, it's to pause and observe it. Marcus wrote, "Today I escaped anxiety," or no, I discarded it, because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. This line is profound. Notice that he doesn't say he defeated anxiety. He says he discarded it. Like something that didn't belong to him. Here's how you can do that. When you feel anxious, stop and notice it. Don't label it as bad. Don't say, "Oh no, here it comes again." Just observe it like a scientist watching a storm. Ask, what exactly am I afraid of right now? Then, is it in my control? This instantly shifts you from emotional reaction to rational reflection. It puts you back in the driver's seat of your own mind. Because that's what Stoicism is: the art of staying calm while everything else burns around you. Part 4. The worst-case scenario exercise anxiety feeds on uncertainty. The more we resist imagining the worst, the more power it gains over us. The Stoics had a weapon for this, a practice called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Marcus practiced this constantly. He would remind himself, what if I lose everything? What if I am betrayed? What if I die today? To most people, that sounds depressing. But for a Stoic, it's liberating. Why? Because when you imagine the worst and accept it, fear loses its grip. Seneca said it best. He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. In modern terms, by mentally rehearsing potential losses or hardships, you make yourself emotionally ready. Let's say you're anxious about a presentation at work. Ask yourself, what's the absolute worst that can happen? Maybe you forget a few lines. Maybe someone looks unimpressed. That's it. You'll survive. By confronting that image, your brain realizes it's not fatal. And once your mind accepts that, anxiety shrinks into perspective. Part 5. The power of the present. Anxiety always lives in the future. It whispers, what if, what if, what if? The Stoic antidote is to return to the present moment. Marcus wrote, confine yourself to the present. He knew that the only time we truly live is right now. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. The only thing real is this moment, the breath you're taking right now. When you catch your mind racing, pause. Breathe deeply. Feel your surroundings. Remind yourself, this is the only moment that exists. As Marcus said, every hour be firmly resolved to do what nature demands. Speak as it befits your dignity, think as it befits your reason. That's Stoic mindfulness. It's not about sitting cross-legged for an hour. It's about returning to awareness, again and again, until it becomes your default. Part 6. Turning anxiety into strength. Here's a paradox Marcus understood better than most. Anxiety can be your greatest teacher. It reveals what you value. You're anxious about losing your job because you value security. You're anxious about being judged because you value acceptance. The Stoic move isn't to hate the feeling, it's to learn from it. Marcus wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, don't run from anxiety. Use it. If you're anxious about failing, prepare better. If you're anxious about confrontation, practice courage. If you're anxious about the future, double down on being present. Every anxious thought is a teacher pointing to something within you that needs attention or action. Once you see anxiety that way, it loses its venom. Part 7. A Stoic morning practice for calm. Marcus began each day by mentally preparing himself for the chaos ahead. He wrote, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial. He wasn't being pessimistic, he was being realistic. By expecting difficulty, he wasn't shocked by it. And when you're not shocked, you're not anxious. Here's a modern version of his practice. Before you check your phone, sit for 1 minute. Remind yourself, I can't control what happens today, only how I respond. Breathe deeply 3 times. Imagine yourself acting calmly through every situation. This primes your mind for resilience. You enter the day already grounded, instead of chasing calm when stress hits. Part 8. The wisdom of perspective. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself how small most problems really are in the grand scale of the universe. He wrote, consider how ephemeral and mean all mortal things are. Yesterday a drop of semen, tomorrow a handful of ashes. At first, that sounds harsh. But it's actually a reminder of freedom. The things that cause us anxiety, the email, the meeting, the comment, the bill, are tiny specks in the vastness of time. When you zoom out, the intensity fades. The Stoics used this cosmic perspective as a tool. They would imagine looking down on their city from above, seeing how small their worries looked from a higher view. Try it. Next time anxiety hits, imagine yourself floating above your life. Watch the tiny dramas unfold like waves on the ocean. They come and go. None of them are forever. That's perspective. That's peace. Part 9. The Stoic mindset in the modern world. The world today moves faster than ever. Notifications, deadlines, noise, everything competes for your attention. But Marcus Aurelius faced a different kind of chaos, and his solution still fits ours perfectly. He didn't run away. He didn't distract himself. He trained his mind. He practiced acceptance, detachment, and presence, over and over, until peace became his default setting. That's the Stoic mindset. Not escaping life, but engaging with it calmly. Not pretending stress doesn't exist, but mastering how you respond. You don't need to be an emperor to do this. You just need to start with one thought. Right finger, is this in my control? If yes, act. If no, release. That single practice, done daily, can transform your mental health. Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations not for fame, not for history, but as a reminder to himself. And maybe, in some mysterious way, as a message to us, thousands of years later. He knew that peace doesn't come from avoiding life. It comes from living it fully, wisely, and calmly. So the next time anxiety creeps in, remember the emperor who faced it all: plague, betrayal, war, and still found serenity through reason and acceptance. You are stronger than your thoughts. You have power over your mind. And with practice, you too can live like a Stoic emperor, calm in chaos, unshaken by storms.